Welcome back to the flight deck of the Rio Grande. For the second part of our pitch video, I wanted to interview the three lovely ladies who were the leads for our three productions, Dreadnought Dominion, Project Runabout, and Warbird Valador. These awesome actresses lead all the action for these adventures, and I thought I would allow them to tell you a little bit about themselves and their place in the Dominion Media universe. Thank you for joining us. Right now, we're going to start with our first leading lady. I've got a few questions for you, if you don't mind.
Oh, that'd be cool.
First, I want you to please introduce yourself, who your character is, and what production you play in.
My name is Victoria Avalon. I play Captain Maurine Farrell and with Dreadnought Dominion.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're doing when you're not playing on your production.
Well, I'm an attorney in Central Florida. I've been a Star Trek fan since the original series. I can remember being a child in 1969 and very young and sneaking out. It was past my bedtime on Friday nights and sneaking out to see the show at 10 o'clock on Friday nights and getting in trouble for it. I can remember that. I watched the animated series. I loved it. Watched all the movies when they were in the theaters. Became involved with fan fiction 2012. I'm an original cast and crew member for Farragut Films. I'm one of the plank owners of the Kingsland studio, one of the ones who helped construct it.
Next question. Victoria, how long have you been part of the production?
Started working with Dominion Media in 2015 with Excalibur Logs, and started playing the character of then Dr. Maurine Farrell, which is a signal honor. That character is in the headcanon of our showrunner, and it's been a great honor to bring her to life.
Are you a fan of Star Trek and science fiction in general?
Oh, absolutely. I love Star Trek in all its forms. I even enjoyed the second season of Discovery. I'm not a great fan of the last two seasons or the first, but Strange New Worlds is fantastic. I never miss an episode. Haven't seen one yet that I didn't like. Even the musical episode I thought was well done. I've watched every one of the original series up through Enterprise, in fact, and liked all of them. I'm also a Babylon 5 fan. We have the whole DVD series of the original Babylon 5 from the 1990s. I'm an anime fan too, Sailor Moon. So yeah, I've been a science fiction fan since I was a teenager.
Okay, Victoria, what drives you to continue to come back and play your part in your Dominion Media production?
Because it's fun. It's not only is it fun, but it's also excellent to work with the people who are a part of Dominion Media. You and Randy tell great stories, and it's very enjoyable to bring those characters and those places and those things to life. I've always done fan films in general for the people that I meet, the relationships that I make. In everyone that I've worked with, I just meet the most wonderful people and have the most excellent experiences. This has been the best since Farragut, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. It's worth every minute. It's like a vacation from reality every time I go. And when we're done with shooting, I always feel like Cinderella getting back in the pumpkin carriage at midnight before it turns back into a pumpkin. It's just a blast every time.
Victoria, what do you think of the stories, the dialogue, and the general vibe of your production?
I love it. You and Randy test me as an actress in ways that I have not been tested in previous productions that I've been in. This is the second time that I've played a starship captain, and Captain Farrell now. She's a doctor, a medical doctor, trained as a medical doctor, and she's much more cognizant of the importance of life just in with the writing, you and Randy inject elements of humor into writing. I'm not good at that. That's something I've got to learn to get better at. You're testing my bounds as an actress there. I'm not part of the writing team here, so I'm not telling through myself the stories that I write. Rather, I'm building a character with the writing team, with you and Randy. So that's coming at the profession differently, and it's stretching me, it's challenging me as an actress, and I really enjoy that too. It's just fun. I've never had a bad experience on a Dominion shoot ever, and I've worked all. I mean, I was crew all the way back to the original Haunted, and I don't think I've ever had. I can't remember ever having a bad experience on one of our shoots ever.
Victoria, what about the costumes we ask you to wear and the sets that you shoot on?
Well, the sets in Kingsland I helped build. When we left there after we shot Homecoming in 2015, I thought I'd never work on those sets again. I thought I'd never see them again. It's a great privilege to be back on them. I think Ray Tezzi has done a great job of preserving everything that we've built. And lately, they're reaching out to some of the original builders like Greg Green and Mike Bednar, and incorporating them into the neutral zone. And I'm so glad to see it. I think we had a lot to do with that when we brought back the Constitution the way that we did, and I can't tell you how glad I am that I was in any way able to facilitate even part of that. I thought that was fantastic to be able to do that. Your costumes are fantastic, and they always have a lot of heart and tell great stories. And you and Randy are fantastic at that. Um, some of the best costumes that I've worn in a production have been Dominion. Great example, the dress uniforms that people are going to see when In Our Own Time comes out. Fantastic and comfortable too. I mean, usually those uniforms are ridiculously hot, and I've got an original. It came from a Novos, but John Broughton edited it for me, or tailored it for me into a tunic top. It is one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever worn in my entire life. It's so hot, and y'all used to always complain about that, right? These things are so hot, and I'd be sitting there laughing because I wear those blue tunics, with a long sleeve undershirt underneath, and I was just like chilling, man. It was just cool. I was like, yeah, whatever, I have no idea what you all are talking about, because even when I was doing Farragut, I wore a jumpsuit, and I still have Yvette Dupree's original red jumpsuit. It's completely different. It's not made of that awful fabric. It breathes, man, like Egyptian cotton, right? And so when we shot In Our Own Time, I'm wearing this rig, and other than the fact that Terry Stanford was constantly having to fix the seams because the thread, I mean, I'd had it for years, and the thread was so old. So if you move it any certain way, I popped a seam. It's fairly snug on me too. So that and the old thread, it tended to pop, and she would have to take it between takes and fix it. But it was hot. I mean, I must have lost 5 pounds of water weight in that outfit, and it was worse when we shot the scenes in the Valdor episode that came after the credits, because it was still a dress at the time, and I was wearing it with a pair of black tights, and oh my God, it was hot. I mean, that was in October when we shot that, and fortunately, it wasn't that warm in Georgia in October. But I can tell you, I wasn't cold, man, not at all. And you get under those lights, and the neutral zone, they still use a lot of the old-fashioned, these incandescent lights, so things get hot, man. And when you're wearing those uniforms, it's just terrible. Um, my favorite one, people are going to get to see at some point, the green wrap that you made for me, and oh my gosh, it is so comfortable. It's amazing. It's like the favorite costume of all time that I've worn, um, just because it's so comfortable.
Victoria, do you draw from any acting or real life experiences when portraying your character?
Yes. I think Captain Farrell is probably closer to my own personality than any character I've played. Her backstory has her coming from West Virginia, which is where I grew up. Um, I was a paramedic in the 1980s, so I do have some medical background, enough to make her at least halfway believable. And there are several influences on me as for playing a captain, and one of them is Jeff Green's portrayal of Alec Gregory in Project Potemkin. I think he is an amazing actor. He's also a friend of mine. And George Kayan's mother, who played Captain Navarro in one of his early efforts, she was amazing. And there's a little of that in the portrayal that I use. When I did Captain Gabriel back in the day, she was modeled a lot on Captain Kirk. I mean, who doesn't do that? I think Maurine Farrell is going to be a little less like that. She's going to be a lot less likely to want to charge into things and disregard the rules. She's a physician, so she's going to be a lot more likely to be cognizant of things and of the sanctity of life. Where Gabriel, for example, tended to act first and think later. So yeah, there are a number of influences on the way I portray a commanding officer of a starship.
What do you think of this 3-part crossover that you're all about to film in the coming months?
I think it's innovative. What a great way to tell a story within the rules. There are certain rules for fan productions these days, but what a way to be able to tell that story within the rules. And I'm trying to find the words, and to be able to do it in an ensemble style with the whole group of actors and actresses that are a part of the production. I think that telling that story across all 3 crews is innovative, and I think that it's going to advance the story. I think it's going to it's going to do something that you can't normally do, and stay within the rules. You know, when we create a 45-minute long production, technically we shouldn't be doing that. You know, we're community theater. We're no real threat to the franchise, but it's still even better. Tells a story in continuity, and I think that's tremendous. It's going to be very fun.
Thank you for joining us today for this pitch video. We all look forward to seeing you in the future on your respective productions. Thank you again.
I'm glad to help. Anytime I can help, I'm glad to step up and do what I can.